Decisions of attitude and attitude of decisions. I find that in my life story, and we all have a story of what we are, who we are, and what we are creating and who we are being. But I find that in my story, where I have been and where I'm going. So my story says a lot about what I'm doing. And I hope y'all don't mind. I have some binaural beats playing here in the background that my friend made me. Aren't these really nice? Listen to these binaural beats I have playing in the background because they're really nice. But like I'm saying, decision of attitude. Any attitude you have or any mindset you have is a decision that you consciously or subconsciously make. So I find that more and more today than ever before, my attitude is based upon the aspects of my life determinations of what I want to manifest. And that is so much more prevalent now in this day and age than it was, 100 years ago. When motivation started coming out was right around 100 years ago, give or take a few years. More people were in tune with the manifesting, more in tune with the mindset. But the thing is, people didn't talk so much about it because a lot of people were not believing. They thought everything happened just because it happened. They didn't realize that everything that happens to us or for us is a direct result of what we think, what we believe, and what we are attracting to us. And like I said, 100 years ago, a lot of people did not believe that they were creating their own reality, their own world. So when I tell people, what is your story? Immediately, a lot of people will start saying, my story is I grew up here, that's fine. That's part of your story. This is where I work. This is what I do. And, and that's all part of the story, but that's not all of your story. Your story is also, what are you doing in the now? What are you doing now that is reflecting on what you're going to have in your future? So anything that you're doing now is what you're setting up as a pathway, a bridge to what you're creating for your future. Getting this out here for you guys. Attitude is key. And also being happy. You heard me talk a lot about happy, happy, happy. Wake up in divine righteousness and divine growth. And be happy with what you have right now. Be happy with your growth. Be happy with your success. Be happy with everything you have in your life. Be happy and don't be afraid to tell your story. You'll find that a lot of speakers, the first thing they do when they get up on stage is to tell their story. Tell about how bad their life was and how awful things were and how they turned it around. Well, that's okay. That is their story. And I would never put anyone down for telling their story. So for me, I prefer not to get up there on stage and say how bad everything was, because you know what? 9 out of 10 people have had a bad life. They can already relate to it. They can already relate to the bad, and they can already relate to things not working. And that's great. That makes a connection with that story. I prefer to move in the now to say, you know what? Back in the day when I was just getting started with this, I had so many failures. I had so much. I lost so much money. I spent so much money and everything fell apart. That's a given. So, pardon me. So, when I learned to have an attitude of nothing will stop me from creating my life, Excuse me, guys. Because nothing can stop you from being something. I have allergies. Sorry about that. Sorry, I'm coughing like crazy today. But when I learned, and you can do the same thing, if you're getting ready for the new year, everything's coming about. We've only got a few days left until we're ringing in 2020. In these past few days, I've talked to several people that they're worried, they're stressed, they're not sure what's going to happen in 2020, and a lot of people I've been speaking with they're just upset. And if this is you in this ballpark, then listen up, because you don't have to be upset, because if there's things out of your control that you can't control, then don't be worried about what you can't control. Only be focused on what you can control, which is your lifestyle, your home, your family, these things that you have power over to give motivation, to give prosperity, to give pieces of inspiration, to give all of this out. You will find that it's an attitude. It's when you have an attitude of nothing is getting in my way. I'm creating my life. I am manifesting what I want, and I am doing this on my terms, my way. When you have that attitude and you put forth a happy energy, and when you're happy by divine right, and you say that first thing in the morning when you get up, and be grateful for everything you have now, right this minute now, then you will get more and more of that back to you. So it's about what you give out to the universe. It's about what you give that you will be attracting back to you. If you're giving positive energy, if you're giving inspiration, if you're giving, insights, maybe you're a coach, maybe you're doing training, maybe you're doing whatever, side hustle you're doing, or whatever you're working on. For me, as you all know, I'm a coach, and I coach a lot of people, and I love seeing success. It makes me happy to see people succeed. I also am an affiliate with a company, and I'm also putting out my own products, which is ebooks and training material. But what I've incorporated into my business, and I don't know what you guys are doing or not doing, unless you're on my coaching team, and then I know. But I've implemented the Top Earners program. And you know what? When I implemented this here a few weeks back, I knew that anything I could implement into my business that was created by Top Earners for success, I knew that all I had to do was, my nose itches, sorry, was incorporate what they've created into my business. Well, when I did this, and I had no doubt, and that's one thing, when you incorporate something into your business or into your lifestyle, don't have a doubt about it. Have an attitude of, this is what I'm doing, and this is working for me, and this is creating my lifestyle, to have the lifestyle and the mindset I choose to have. I have the mindset, I have the lifestyle that I choose to have. And you can have this too. It's a decision of attitude. When you make a decision for your life story to be, maybe you want your life story to be one where your family's together and you're all happy and you're able to give them what they need without stress, or without saying, well, that's just not, I just don't have the money for that right now. So we can't do that. When you do that, you're always putting a lack on your lifestyle. You're putting lack. But when you get in the mindset of, I've got this. This is my life. This is how it's going to be. This is what I'm doing. And if you don't have the funds right now, what if you try to change your words? Change your attitude towards what you're creating. You can say, like, I can see that you really want that. So why don't we look at getting that, sometime in the next few weeks? You're not saying you don't have it. You're not saying you don't have the money. You're saying is, yeah, we can do that, but let's look at it down the road. Let's look at it down here. When you do that, that's changing the attitude that you have towards what you're doing. It's also changing your mindset. And when you do this, you have a top earner mentality, so to speak. Because a top earner mentality is you're always thinking outside the box. You're always thinking out there in the, never world or whatever you want to call it. I call it, for me, my fairy world. Because in my fairy world, everything is happy, which I love to be happy. And everyone that knows me knows I am happy every single day. Every day I'm happy. And even if I wake up and I've got a headache, or I got a sore throat because I talked too much the day before. Excuse me just a second. Sorry about that. That's going to be blurry on the film. Sorry about that. Or even that, like this morning, I talked so much the past few days that I woke up this morning with a little scratchy throat. It's from talking so much. But in order to get the message across and to help as many people as possible, it requires talking. So, on that happy note, again, the decisions you make for your lifestyle, for your mindset, going into 2020, the decisions you make right now, today, are and will impact your next year. I don't know, a lot of people just look forward from year to year. I always look at when I'm going in from year to year, as most of you already know. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the hearts. As most of you already know, as I'm going in, I've already talked about on previous broadcasts, was I've already set my goals for the next year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. And I always modify my goals as I go. And I've already looked at more closely, today I looked more closely at my 1-year goals and did a little changes here and there because I've actually brought in, with this top earner program that I implemented here a couple weeks ago, I have already completed 2 of my goals. And it was great. I am so happy for that. So when I did, I just modified how I was going to do my goals. And it is a attitude of decision, or decision of attitude. So I made some choices to add another goal. And by doing that, I've opened up a whole new doorway that is going to help a lot of people down the road. Because my goal that I'm going to be creating is I'm going to create a course series. And I got this idea from the top earner program. So I figured, why not give more back? Why not give more back to the marketplace than what I'm receiving, which is what we're supposed to do. We're always supposed to give more than we're receiving. Always give more than you're receiving. And you know what? You'll be surprised. You just keep getting more and more and more. And it's amazing how this works out. And I really look forward to helping more and more people in 2020. And I know my income is growing right now. It's growing right this minute. I enter and I go into each day being happy with a decision and attitude and my mindset of, this is my story, this is my life, and this is what my story says about me. So try this, and don't just try it. Use these tips, use these little tricks, and use how these come about and make you better and make your business grow. If your business isn't growing, you have a hobby. If you have a hobby, at least enjoy your hobby. It's whatever way you work on it, whatever you do. Okay? So take this to heart and look at the decisions of attitude you're making every day. And remember, what does your story say about you? And tell your story. Tell it in your marketing. Tell it in your speaking. Tell it in what you're doing. Incorporate your story, which is your life, into your business. You'll be surprised at the income and the outcome you'll get. And yes, I said income because it works that way. Okay, guys? I hope everyone had a super great holiday. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Getting ready for the new year. If you're not ready, your goals aren't ready, get going. Running out of time. Okay, check y'all later. Oh, sorry, I got the hiccups. Okay, bye-bye.